Hi guys, Daniel.
Lucy here.
So just like we promised, we went and saw the last Indiana Jones.
Let's so far.
Yeah, well, imagine, maybe when he's 100, they'll make another one.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah, I assume it's the last one. At least it's the latest one. Which now that I was thinking, they made like a really good job at de-aging him in the beginning of the movie.
It was perfect. I commented with Daniel that it really seemed like they shot the first part of the movie 20 years ago.
The first
so
sequence.
It was great.
Yeah.
The CGI was so good you could barely notice. I mean, you could not notice at all, in my opinion.
I mean, you still have that uncanny valley effect, that it's not real, but I think it's one of the best de-agings, CGI de-agings that I've seen.
Yeah.
You noticed the voice. At least I noticed like, oh, okay, but this is like an older man's voice. That was more distracting than the actual look of him, in my opinion.
Actually, I think there's a lot of people that has such a different voice than what you were expecting when you look at them. So it was not that distracting for me.
But since I know in this voice, a little bit.
I understand.
But anyways, like we always do, first we're gonna speak without any spoilers, and then we'll get into it. So first of all, did we like the movie? Yes or no?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't talk with that face like, oh, it's okay. No, it was a nice movie. I like this one more than the last one, than the fourth.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Strangely, I think I like the fourth one a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you really enjoyed the fourth one, but...
I did.
So you enjoyed this one even more than that one?
No, sorry, the third. The one that's mediocre. Which one? Is it the third?
That depends. Which one do you think?
Okay, which one was the fourth?
The fourth was the last one we saw. It was with
kids.
his son and
okay,
the aliens.
I like that one. It's the one with the stupid girl.
That's the second one.
Okay, that I didn't like that much.
Yeah.
Okay, basically I liked them all. The second not that much, but the others I like them, and I really like this one. So let's just leave it like that, I would say.
Yeah, I'm very in the middle. It's like that there are a lot of things that, and I will go into that I liked, and a lot of things that I thought wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like it's an okay movie. It could be better. Yeah. Could be worse. Yeah. I think it's pretty much in the middle, in my opinion.
I was expecting something. I was expecting a movie less great, I would be honest, because it's quite old. So it is a very active movie. Indiana Jones, there's always something happening, and it's very active, his character. But he did a great job, even with that age, I would say.
I would say that there might be a lot of things that I might complain about the movie. One thing that I think they maintain, and I think it's still great, it's the character. Indiana's character, even the way it evolved, now he's 80, it's the most relatable and fun thing in the movie. It's himself, Indiana.
Yeah, and it makes sense because in the first movie, it's way more active than the last one. But the thing is that it's funny because he makes jokes about his own age, and you see that he got slower. It's not like Tom Cruise, that's always the same age. Not at all. It's like you see that he gets older, and the character itself accompanies him.
Yeah.
So it's something that I really liked about the movie. It's real in that aspect. So it was cool.
You still have those moments where it's like, would someone with that age do that? But honestly, it's really not exaggerated in that aspect.
Yeah.
I think in the last movie it was more exaggerated. They had much more exaggerated moments of like impossible stuff, let's say. With the exception of the end of this movie, which we'll talk afterwards, which was amazing, but we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah. So, just a tiny thing regarding that. I understand why some of you may not enjoy this movie as much, because it is completely different than what we've seen so far. Let's just say that from the first to the fourth, he learns and studies history and archaeology. In this one is part of archaeology and history. So
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
that's the smoothest way to say this without being a spoiler. And that's why one of the reasons I really like it, and Daniel as well. And I think that's gonna be one of the reasons that a lot of people will not like it. So
Maybe. Yeah.
it is completely different. So if you have the mindset of it's gonna be another Indiana Jones, it's gonna be more of the same, you are completely wrong. So rethink and be open-minded before you go watch this movie to the theater.
It's true that a lot of the movie, in my opinion, is kind of, I would say, bland. It's a lot of. I think the movie's too long, in my opinion. It's the longest one so far. It's like 2 hours and a half, and it could lose like almost 1 hour, I would think, for the rhythm to be a little bit different, a little bit repetitive. But I would say, for example, that the beginning and the ending are quite strong in my opinion. I think it loses itself a little bit in the middle, which is, I think, is the weakest point in the movie. Just talking in general about the weakest points, I would say that his companions are also, I think, the weakest part. The strongest part is him, yeah. Some stuff, like you said, some new stuff that appears in the movie that I also think that are quite interesting. And this is a strong and at the same time a weak element, I would say, the villain.
The villain, yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it.
Because the villain, it really is nothing that special. What he wants,
it's not special at all. I would say
the way it's written,
very
let's say, yeah.
basic.
But they have an amazing actor portraying him, so that makes miracles.
You look at him and you're like, okay, I forgive you.
It's like, no, whatever they give this man to say, it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. We talk about it in one of our previous reviews. I'm not sure exactly which one. That the script may not be the greatest, but if you have good actors, you can always have something good out of there. So it's amazing what they do sometimes.
We talked about that when we were talking about the third Indiana Jones with him and his father, and he was like, okay, but if it wasn't those two great actors, maybe
you would lose something. And regarding what you were saying, that in the middle the rhythm went a little bit lower, I want to believe that it was because it makes sense with his character. So he had a huge first thing, the movie.
I didn't want to mean like there's no action, okay? I didn't want
I know what you meant.
There's a lot of action scenes throughout the whole movie.
But some things you could have just left because they are just enxerçurices in Portuguese.
Yes, enxerçurices. And the look of it, it's quite repetitive, and they have it has a certain look which is, I will call it like Disney-like CGI confusion. That
I agree.
You know what I mean?
That I agree.
I wanted to see more clearly things, to have more fun. There are some good shots.
There are. Yeah.
There's one, I would say, in a chase scene where there's like a bunch of straws that goes directly into a guy on a motorcycle. That shot was great. There are a few things that I like.
Yeah.
But usually it's kind of bland, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, now a lot of things happen here, but in the end, nothing is happening that much. Which is why I like the first scene, because in the first scene, a lot of things were happening, but you understood what was happening. It was funny, it was inventive.
Okay. I still have my opinion, but I agree with a part of what you're saying as well.
No, sure, of course.
It was kind of Disney vibe. I think that says everything, but still.
But, okay, let's finish this spoiler-free section so we can talk
about what matters.
Yes, exactly. So, ultimately, if I would recommend you to see this in the cinema, maybe. I don't think it's obligatory to see in the cinema. Right now, you have this and Mission Impossible.
That we will see.
Yeah, I think that one is more worthwhile, probably.
That's so total me. I'm such a big fan of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and that one, I'm sure it's going to be worthy. This one, I would say, like, well, it's fun. It's fun. A little bit long, but fun. Nothing over the top. Nothing really that bad. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, this is the worst movie of the year. I completely disagree.
People say that?
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
People like to exaggerate one way or the other.
Not at all. In my opinion, it is worth to see, especially if you saw the previous one. So I think
Obviously.
something's made me really upset about Indiana Jones' personal life. That we will get.
I know.
into
I want to
it
talk about that
eventually.
as well. Yeah.
That got me really upset and annoyed, but
It still makes sense. His
Yeah.
development of character. Let's say.
just don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Things work out at the end in one way or another.
Sure.
Doesn't mean it is good. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just works out the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should go and watch it because it's like
Yeah,
an end
it's worth
of an
it.
era, let's say.
Mm-hmm. I think it's worthwhile to see. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
About the villain, that's something that I didn't talk yet. I agree with you. I think it's a very poor villain. I like when the villains are actually villains. And here it just wants something and it tries to get it and then he gets it, but then it's not exactly it, but then it is, but then it's not. And that's it. And it just ends like that. And you say, like, at least my opinion, my feeling was that, oh, that's it? Oh, okay.
What about the horrible death? No, you don't get that.
Yeah. Oh, his death?
Yeah, I like to have, like, it's always like a memorable, like, horrible death that they have, and here it's just...
Not only his death, but the aim that he has, it's like so...
There's a part of it that I like, that I find interesting, but it's just one little aspect. The rest, yeah, I would say. Okay, guys, we're gonna move to the spoiler section, so now we can talk freely about...
Yeah, so...
all aspects of the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, obviously watch it first. Or if you have no interest in watching the movie, don't watch it.
Yeah, put a pause and subscribe to our channel. Then you can just come back and watch the rest of the video. And subscribe and put a like and save it and all of those kind of stuff.
Subscribe again. Yeah. So, first of all, you can talk a little bit about the things that you liked of the movie then.
Okay, so I loved the beginning. I love the shots of the beginning of the movie. It just starts with a very interesting chasing scene in a train, and
yeah,
it is amazing. The first scene of the movie, in my opinion, it's one of the best scenes of the entire movie, in my opinion, and I really think that is way younger. I mean. CGI makes him
the
way
aging
younger.
Was very good.
It was very good, and all the plot itself, the other characters, the second figurinos.
The secondary characters.
Secondary characters.
Okay. Supporting characters.
They were also very good.
We see Indiana doing more than once acting like I'm just a Nazi driver, then I'm just a Nazi officer.
But he's very used to do those kind of things. In almost every movie, he pretends to be someone.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun.
It was very fun, the first part, and also something else that I forgot. We were talking.
Well, we are introduced. So in the first scene, we are introduced also to the other supporting character, the
which I didn't really like him though.
Well, he only appears here and then he's talked about because he's like one of the reasons why the story happens.
Yeah.
And then we also introduced to the main villain. You have another big villain, which is the bad guy in the beginning, but then the villain of the rest of the movie, it's like a supporting character that appears here in the beginning. Which honestly, the way he's like hit in the face with that thing, I would think like, oh, he's dead.
First, it makes no sense. The villain that appears throughout the entire movie, it just gets knocked in the head so strongly,
so hard
that it's like no way he's alive, especially with no scar.
Yeah, no scar, nothing.
That I didn't like. I would like him to have like a scar or any sort of mark. It would make so much sense, but he didn't, and I didn't really like that part.
He didn't seem like he aged that much. So when I was watching the movie, I was waiting to see if there was like some kind of power, something that he had. It's like, no, it's just.
I think they just forgot about that.
Yeah, but Yeah, no
Honestly.
scar, nothing like, oh, okay, so that was just like, okay, it was just hit, that's it. No, it was really strong. He would die from that.
Exactly. That's exactly what
Completely.
I thought. Then we have a woman that appears. That's the daughter of the guy that's with him.
Yeah.
She's annoying as hell. I didn't like her.
Yeah,
Neither.
the goddaughter.
Not
Yeah.
only the character itself. I think it was very bad taste, I would say, for the movie. I think it required something nicer, not with a nicer posture, but what I think I didn't like was the acting. I was not a big fan of the acting of her, honestly.
Maybe.
So
I
I
think I
didn't-
share a little bit your opinion in that
Yeah,
one.
so I wasn't very happy with it. It's like there was something missing, you know?
Okay, she was a character, very energetic. I do like the first two scenes where she is in, where she appears. But again, I think it's because of Harrison Ford, because she appears
Yeah.
when he's giving lectures and everybody's falling asleep, and then she starts answering, and you see life coming into him again.
Oh,
You know,
sorry, that was a great scene,
that was
guys.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, he's teaching and then he's like very bored, like, so you need to pay attention to that because there is blue in that artifact, and then she asks questions. It's like, oh yes, because it's like this and it's like
You
that.
see, he
and-
still has passion. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the whole class was asleep, so he was kind of
Yeah.
like, and he was kind of depressed, which we understand in the movie because of all the things that happen in his life. So
Yeah.
I understand. So she appears in those first scenes. It's
And
not
it's
bad.
nice.
It's kind of nice. It's interesting, but her character quickly becomes a little bit.
It's like
She's an asshole. Yeah, true. She's an asshole.
yeah.
It's-
I have a saying that's like bread without salt. I don't know if you have that expression, guys, but in Portuguese it makes sense. It's like a bread without salt. It's like you eat, it's like you can eat it, but it's like,
Yeah.
why didn't they put salt in it? You know what I mean?
It's just,
Makes sense in
It's just yeah. And she's always making jokes or trying to make jokes, and in my opinion,
It's very cringe.
It's not funny. It becomes cringe. It's really like stop it.
Yeah.
I would say that not as bad as her, let's say, but it really didn't work out for me. Also, the kid character was not getting much enjoyment from him as well.
Because they tried to put a woman and a kid and it didn't work in the second movie, so they tried to do it again and it still didn't work.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
I
thing
would
that I
say
have.
that in the second movie, which it's a worst movie in my opinion, but I think it's and they are annoying. All of that is annoying, but it's much more memorable.
No. Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, and
that I agree.
but the kid is better in the second movie. It's a short round. I think it was much more useful and much more funny and much more memorable. Here,
But don't forget that in the other one, the kid was faithful to Indiana, and here,
He's faithful
in
to
this
her.
movie, is faithful to her. So
Yeah.
that makes a huge difference for him
Yes,
to be
true.
useful in different situations.
true. I agree. Yeah.
So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
why it is different.
Yeah. So about her, what else?
It's hot, guys.
Well,
Summer.
one thing that I was thinking that maybe could happen since Indiana is way older. I was thinking that maybe she would become like the leader, and but that doesn't really happen. It's quite the opposite because Indiana is the one that takes charge of the direction. Let's say she's always trying to end this and just get money. That's it.
Yeah. So that's another thing that I don't really appreciate in the movie, because it's all about history and artifacts and everything. And her father, he also researched. So
Archaeologist.
I don't see the point of her being so different than her father and her godfather, that's Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
They never explain that, how that became. She just appears like someone very greedy and she just want money.
Yeah,
But
because
it makes no sense with the storytelling that we have from her family and from all the things,
the thing that the father was obsessed with, and then if she gets it, she just wants to sell it. It seems like there should be a connection there, something a little
Once
bit
again,
more.
there is, in my opinion, what I think that was missing in this movie was essence.
Essence, yeah.
Essence. It's like
A little bit, yeah.
That's the thing. It's lack of salt, in my opinion. It's okay. Again, you can eat the food without salt, but it's not the same thing. That's exactly how I feel about this movie. Some things there they didn't explain. This is one of them that I really didn't get her character. I wish I did because it's a very important character, but I didn't.
Yeah, she's the instigator of the whole story happening.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. But there's not much. Then during the movie, she starts to be a little different. She starts to get more into Indiana's side, and she worries more about him, about
Yeah.
the mission of finding the artifact as well. But at the end, at the end we see that she evolved, as her character evolved a lot, and
I think so. Let's hope so. Yeah.
yeah, I think so, because then she was, in the end, she was with Indiana and his family, and it worked. And let's talk about what matters, in my opinion.
Yeah, we were completely wrong. This is not a movie about his son, him with his son, or anything like that.
Not at all. His son is
Go ahead.
completely dead.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the war and he died in the war. Indiana Jones lost his wife because they got divorced because of that. They couldn't handle with the loss of their son.
Yeah, and the movie starts with that, which I mean, it's interesting to see him depressed and all of that, but I was kind of really bummed out and annoyed in the beginning of the movie. It's like, really? We had, because at least
Such
for
a
me,
great
I
ending.
liked the ending of the other one. The kid almost grabbing the hat, and then he grabbed the hat, and they were a family. And the only thing that was to my mind is like, okay, again, Disney, like, okay, no, forget that ending, let's continue something else. It's like, okay, am I supposed to forget about those characters and all of those things that we got attached to? It's the same thing when they do like in TV shows, where from one season to the other, suddenly people who were together now are not together, and everything changed, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and you get like, what happened? Like, of course they continue their life. I mean, but what we're watching, it is for us, for the spectator, and when the person that's watching doesn't understand what happened, it makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pointless. The art of the movie is pointless. I really didn't like the fact that we could not see anything from the kid. I wish we could have seen a flashback, for example. It would be enough.
There's a
just
part
to close that.
where Indiana talks about what happened, what you were saying, that he went to
Barely.
war. No, that's what I'm saying.
Barely.
I would like for that to not just be something it just casually refers to, but actually to be like a motivation behind the things that happen. For example, it's like it's a big deal.
Exactly.
He lost his family, let's say.
Yeah, and one other thing that I didn't like about this movie at all, it's the way they give us notice. All the news, sorry. They give us news in a very strange way. First, the news that his kid died. It's like him talking with the girl.
In the middle of the movie.
And it's like, well, if I could change time, I would tell my son not to go to war. And that's it, basically. Of course, that is sad, of course, but it's not a big deal, in the movie.
Yeah.
Then the news...
It's well acted and everything, it's just...
Yeah.
It's kind of casual the way the script
itself. Yeah. So, as well as the news that he's divorced, we just see a paper on the table saying divorce, and that's it.
You're like, really? What? Okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the first, after the first big scene, amazing scene, that's the first shot that we have, and it's like, what the fuck happened?
There are some weak parts, script-wise, there are some weak elements, some weak parts.
Yeah.
I would say that there are some good little things that I like. I think the older characters are always fun to watch. Sala appearing. It's just appears a little bit, but it's always nice.
Yeah, we can see it got quite old, but
very old.
Is always funny. It's one of those characters that has always been the same.
It's like family. It's very familiar when you see it.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel
that's
safe.
Exactly what I feel. I feel like when Sala appears and their conversation, we're home. You know? So it's nice.
I also like him, although he appears very little in the movie. The little cameo from Antonio Banderas. That's it's kind of nice. And it's also something new. We have never seen like an underwater scene in Indiana Jones, so that's something new.
Yeah.
They don't do much with it, honestly, but at least it was something interesting to see those old, like, how do you call the thing for breathing underwater? I have no idea.
A thing that you put in your head to breathe underwater.
Yeah, it goes to the boat and it's attached to the boat.
Yeah.
That scene is quite. Well, if you see the movie, it's nothing really that important happens, but it was still nice to see.
Yeah, it's very interesting the way they do it, and the shot itself are nice, and we have water snakes, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, the heels. Yeah, the heels.
So it's interesting.
Which basically. What happens? They attack. You just throw them off, and you get out. That's it.
That's what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
Let's go to the most interesting part of the movie, I would say.
What? Well, for me, it's the ending. So.
Of course, yeah. So, what we were saying that right in the beginning, if you watch the beginning of this video, is that it was something very different than because. So far, from the first to the fourth movie, we see Indiana searching history, searching archaeology, and being an archaeologist. Here is part of history. So this is the moment where the villain wants to go to the past in order to win the war.
Which is nice. Hitler. It's like, well, I just want to go kill Hitler because he fucked things up, and I would do a much better job.
Which I believe because Hitler was a fucker, honestly. So,
well, this would be worse. Instead of an incompetent madman, would be like a competent Nazi. So no, don't do that.
Yeah, true. But it was very interesting to see that Indiana was in the plane where when they tried to enter the past.
Yeah, let's say the I don't know how it's called. It's like a passage through time.
Yeah,
passage that they go through.
Time.
Yeah.
I think that's the best name.
Yeah.
And they got not into 1939 where they wanted, but
it was like Archimedes never calculated the continental drift into his calculation, so we're not gonna go where you think we're gonna go. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's marvelous because they just got in the middle of Syracuse.
Yeah.
In the middle of a battle. And
that was great.
They start flying and it's like both...
Dragons!
Yeah, the planes were dragons for them. And
oh, God.
You just see like very, very rudimentary boats.
Yeah.
And... guns that was no guns, it was like artists.
Yeah, so it was the Romans attacking Syracuse, and they had what is called scorpions, which throws like big arrows. And some things with fire and stuff like that. But suddenly they appear in the middle of this battle scene. So I was just gonna say that usually at the end of Indiana Jones movies, you have something supernatural that happens. It's not very explained. It's quite not very big, let's say, but then the last one we saw, I think from what I hear,
the aliens.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like because of that. It was something completely different. It was too big, and it's like aliens have nothing to do with that. I liked it personally, but
it's one of the reasons I liked the previous one as well, because it's different.
But even if you don't like the fourth one and you don't like that exaggeration of the ending of the fourth one, you might like this one because I think it makes so much sense with Indiana Jones. I mean, he's an archaeologist. He studied this his whole life, and then he goes to that time period where he has only seen artifacts and like things that he got for the museum, and now he's part of it. Like he said.
You can see his passion in his eyes. It's like, I want to stay here.
Yeah, I want to
stay. This my whole life. This is my whole life. He always dedicated his life and soul and body and everything to that. And we see him now achieving this at that age. It's like, for me, it was like exactly a closure of the cycle, you know? It's It
Yeah.
was a perfect
Yeah, yeah.
closure for him, I would say.
I think he will never. Now he's done everything. He cannot
Yeah.
have an experience a little bit more than this. He was basically a tourist in like another time. The time that
With Archimedes, yeah.
Archimedes, you
a guy
got
that
to
he studied.
exactly.
A guy that he loves. It's like, oh, big fan, but
a big fan of you.
yeah, so maybe that's one of the reasons why you may not enjoy this movie as much, because it really goes off
It's
reality.
gonna divide
and
people.
and it's one of the reasons I didn't like as much
Yeah, you said it.
in the movie. At the same time, if I forget about what I like, or if I put it aside what I like and I don't, it's such a great scene for the character itself, because during the in this case the 5 movies, you get to know the character, you get to know Indiana Jones, and you get at least
you see when he gets passionate about
yeah,
something.
yeah, you get a connection with him, and I was like, oh damn, bro, I'm so happy for you, buddy. I'm happy for you, buddy.
And then putting aside that part, which is very important, the part of the connection with Indiana Jones, just the insanity of that scene. It was beautiful. So
it was.
Imagine you're someone
beautiful.
fighting in that battle. Suddenly you have dragons, metallic dragons appearing from the sky, and then the crazy Nazis start shooting at the Romans. Imagine being a Roman soldier in there. It was amazing, which explains why Archimedes had in that, what was it, in that tomb or whatever.
It was like
some carvings, right?
Yeah, it was a eagle with the things that go around on planes that cut
on helicopters, right? Alice.
Yeah, you Daniel from
I'll
editing
put it
will
there,
put
yeah.
it here.
The Alice the wheelcopter. Yeah, I'll put it there.
Yeah, the helicopter things that go.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And then they start shooting like crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah. One thing that I got from the movie is that they had a machine, like a thing this size, that's exactly what allowed them to go to that period of time. And they got that, and then when they went back to that era, not back, but when they went to that era, that period, they had 2, because the one that they took and the one that Archimedes was building.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Indiana, I don't know if you realize that we didn't talk about it, but Indiana said, we were always getting here. So, in my opinion, it was not Archimedes that didn't do the calculation right. I think that Archimedes made that to go there on purpose.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, it didn't matter what they do,
what
they did,
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, they would always go there, because when Archimedes saw them, he was like, he saw the piece that Indiana had, the object, and he was like, oh, hi, I'm Archimedes, help me. And he showed his own prototype, I would say. I think that was something like that.
He was like, you would always come here, yeah, right?
Yeah, and Indiana was like, well, it didn't matter what we did, we would always come up here. So I think it's very interesting for us to see that part as well.
And it helped them. It's exactly what it was intended for. The Romans left. They stopped the attack. They left.
Yeah.
So it worked.
Yeah.
So I think that Archimedes was when people started talking about dragons. Remember, he went outside and I think he was thinking like, "Oh, this is the work I'm working on right now, which I will finish, and it will work, and they are coming, whoever it is." Well, but
it was a genius, that guy.
You couldn't predict what would happen though, but that part I think was really interesting as well. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that part of the movie for me, again, it's one of the things that I don't like as much, but at the same time is one of my favorite things. So I have like a two-feeling thing that's not easy to explain. I apologize, but
she's very rational, realistic, all of that stuff. That scene is the opposite. It's complete schlock, but
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Like
it has
I told
a lot
you,
of quality, and it's a great scene. I can't say anything on the contrary.
The middle of the movie, like I said, was a bit like, okay, let's move on. And then this part came. I was completely like, what? Wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
It can really wake you up. Let's say it's amazing.
Yeah. And I think that was it. Then he
The ending.
came back. He wanted to stay there. He got shot. He wanted to stay there, and
Oh, I hated. By the way, I kind of hated the way that part ended. It was just the woman. How is she called? Wombat, who just knocks Hindi in the head and then suddenly wakes up in our time.
Yeah, so that was annoying as well.
A little bit. It's like no, it's finished.
No, not as well. The thing for me was not exactly.
Oh, the way she handled it, maybe.
The way it finished, it's the way that she handled it. Yeah, but honestly, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. But it's the fact that how did they come back? That's what I like the most about Indiana is the way that they are thinking in order to get what they want, what they need. The strategy thing behind. That's one of the things I like the most. And here it's like you don't know how they got back. You know that they went to a plane and then
Yeah, they had the second plane. I suppose that's how.
Yeah, they had the second plane because the kid went on a plane as well. And then they had the
passage
the portal that they went through. That era was almost closing because it had like let's say 10 minutes and then it would close.
Limited time. Yeah.
And then probably they just put him inside and then they just fly back. But the thing is, you would need that piece as well, the object as well.
They brought the object back.
Yeah,
at the end, it's in his house. Oh, actually, he kept the piece. One of the few times where he kept
the piece.
It's not in the museum. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but I would understand this because you could completely change the course of
It's
the
too
world.
dangerous, yeah.
It's way too dangerous. But the thing is, if that piece was made to go to that place, how were they able to go back? Because in my head, they would use it and they would go always to that era, so they would not be able to go back.
I understand.
That's the kind of questions that sometimes I get so intrigued about it because I don't understand things and I need to understand.
That part
how
is
things
vague.
work.
You do not understand at all, I would say, how that works.
Oh, you don't understand nothing about
Right?
it.
You understand that it predicts fissures in time, so maybe that's it. It predicted that fissure, but no, but you see, when you start thinking too much about this, you see cracks in the logic. I would say. So just to finish, at the end, I suppose they talked with Marion. She came to be with Indy and they that part I liked. It would be even nicer if they did find a way to go back in time and save his son, obviously, but
that would be a whole different level, and I'm not sure Indy would do it because it would change the course of history permanently, and that's something very dangerous.
I know, but I don't think he cared. He would care about that. Absolutely.
I don't think as well. I think he would go and talk with him, maybe convince him not to go, but he would not just go and save him. I mean, that would be saving, so just forget what I said.
But ultimately, that didn't happen. What happened was that Marion came back. They had a talk. I liked the moment they shared together. I think it was that part was beautiful. I liked it.
Yeah.
It redeemed a little bit what I was
very
feeling
honest.
of that thing. Like, oh, really? You're gonna like finish this whole thing? So it redeemed a little bit of that.
Yeah, the moment they had together was so intimate.
Yeah.
It was so intimate. It was so loving, caring for each other, and it was a flashback, let's say, of something that they lived in the past, and they kind of recreated one of the scenes of the movie from the past.
Exactly.
And I think it was just beautiful. It was simple. It was very small, but it was exactly what was necessary, and that's it.
And again, like I said, it's quite simple. And that's where the difference comes. It's a simple scene. They don't need to say much, but when you have good actors who have like a good connection, and you can feel things even through the eyes, the looks they give one another, it's enough. You don't need more than that. So
and
I
the
think
shine that
nice.
he had in her eyes was amazing.
That part was great. So I would say that the ending is not bad. I kind of felt good with when the movie ended. So that's why I don't really have that much of a problem with this movie, because the beginning and the ending I think were quite good. So
the middle was kind of but that's it.
Too long in my opinion. You don't need to be that long. An Indiana Jones film doesn't need to be that long. That's the thing. But there are enough funny and entertaining parts that
in the middle that
you are
they
along
just
with the ride.
compensate. Yeah. I was gonna say something important. Oh yeah, of course, very important. At the end of the movie, the final, the last shot was the hat. It was washed. It was washed and it was drying.
Outside.
Outside, yeah. And then Indiana just picked it up. And that's why I think they might have continued. But then I wouldn't know with who, you know. So if it was just someone else, it wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't make sense. Yeah.
So I would prefer if they just left there drying than him picking it up. But at the same time, it makes sense.
It might be saying like, you see, no one else will get this hat. I am Indiana Jones. It could be that as well.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna let's pretend that's it, even if it's not, because
hope.
I think that's a better ending.
Yes, please, Disney. It's know when it's enough.
Disney will not hear you, bro.
Don't.
I wish.
It's like you have to let good things be laid to rest. Okay, if it's a good thing, don't touch
Just
it anymore.
Yeah.
Create new things. Why not? Create new things.
Yeah. And I think that's it. It was very long, I would say. As usual. Sorry, guys, but when we start talking, we like talking with you guys. So
yes.
it's good, okay?
And it's interesting to analyze and talk about movies that we see. So that's it. The Indiana Jones saga is over. Like I said in our previous videos, we're gonna, in terms of fantasy, we're gonna finish the Fantastic Beasts, which had a good start. You like the first one.
Yeah.
And in terms of sci-fi, we're gonna start and do all the Matrix movies, which you kind of know a little bit about it. You know about the idea behind it a little bit.
We have inside jokes with that, so.
Yeah, the
clips in the Matrix and all of
the
that.
glitch in the Matrix, all of that stuff. Yeah, exactly.
And we will just, after we say goodbye to you and tell you to subscribe and all of those funny things, we will watch Naked Gun #2, which I am very excited about.
We're also discovering a lot of like spoof American comedies that we hadn't seen before, so we're also exploring that.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the suggestions, guys. So keep giving us suggestions of movies for us to watch, because we don't know many of those. Oh, and we eventually will do Eddie Murphy's as well, because I never saw anything about
I
them.
discovered that she hasn't seen any Eddie Murphy movie, really,
Not
pretty
at all.
much. So that's also a thing that we might get into, yeah.
So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please subscribe and give your thumbs up, and also share with a friend that is really excited to see Indiana Jones, and if they are doubting, just send this to them so that they can understand a little bit how it works and what it was.
And of course, share with us what you think about the movie and what you think
Yeah.
we are wrong and what you think we are correct about.
Yeah, we love to debate with you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I
So
like
it's
it.
very nice to read your comments, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
See ya. Bye-bye.